Hello, 5th grade. We're on Domain 7, William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, Lesson 5, Bottom and Quince. Our objectives are to examine Act 1, Scene 2, and demonstrate the understanding by answering questions and making inferences. Some key vocabulary is a weaver is a person who works making fabric. Lamentable is regrettable and unfortunate. A scroll is a paper roll with writing on it. A tyrant is a harsh ruler. Gallant is in a noble way. Tear a cat in is shout and behave wildly. Condoling is sympathetic. Bellows mender is a person who repairs a special tool that is used to build fires, and a joiner is a type of carpenter. So understanding Shakespeare's language. So we're talking about there's a small line in the play where it says, Bottom, what is Pyramus, a lover or a tyrant? Quince, a lover that kills himself most gallant for love. Bottom, thou will ask some tears in the true performing of it. If I do it, let the audience look to their eyes. I will move storms. To the rest, yet my chief humor is for a tyrant. I could play a part to tear a cat in. So for this one, Bottom and Quince are speaking to each other, and they're talking obviously directly to each other. Who and what are they speaking of? They're talking about the part of Pyramus and what his role would be. So for this one, Pyramus is a lover who ends up killing themselves for their love. So some words that were a little hard to understand were like lover or a tyrant. So basically that means, are they, hard-headed or are they caring? He's trying to figure out how to play that character. And then another word that's hard to understand is tear a cat in. So what do we think that means? We don't actually know what that means, so do not be concerned about that. So in our own words, Bottom asks about his part Pyramus, and Quince explains that he's a lover. Bottom then describes how he's going to make the audience cry. So when he says, let the audience look to their eyes, I will move storms. When we think of a storm, we think of rain, crying. So that's what he's actually saying. I'm going to make the audience cry. I'm going to be so good, I'm going to make them cry. But then he's so distracted by explaining that he might actually wanting to play a different part. He wants to be that vicious tyrant character as well. Part 2, so we have flute. What is Thisbe? A wandering knight. Quince, it is the lady that Pyramus must love. Flute, nay, faith, let me not play a woman, I have a beard coming. So for this one, Flute and Quince are speaking to each other, and they're talking about the part that Flute's going to play. So the words that is a little hard to understand is, I have a beard coming, which means that he's saying that he is getting old enough where he can actually get a beard. So playing a woman might be difficult to portray. So he's just expressing that, maybe I shouldn't play this part because I might not be as looking like one as I should. So Flute asks Quince about his part and then tries to get out of playing a woman because he's getting older. So next part, Quince, Snug the joiner, you must play the lion's part, and I hope here is a play fitted. Snug, have you the lion's part written? Pray you, if it be, give it to me, for I am slow of study. Quince, it is nothing but roaring. Bottom, let me play the lion too. I will roar that I will make the Duke say, let him roar again, let him roar again. So for this one, Quince, Snug, and Bottom are talking to each other, and they're talking about who is going to play the part of the lion. So for the whole explanation of this scene, Quince is saying, okay, Snug, you're going to play the lion. Snug's saying, okay, well, what are my lines? And Quince is then saying, well, you're just going to roar the whole time. Where Bottom comes in saying, oh my goodness, if I do it, the Duke will think I'm an actual lion. He'll think I'm so good that he'll ask me to keep going. So that's kind of what that scene means. Now understand, Shakespeare's language is from a different time period, but it's something that you can kind of decode on your own as you're reading it. But I understand that some of the language is a bit tricky. That's why we go through it and kind of figure it out for ourselves. So now what we're going to do is we're going to watch another video clip of the Midsummer Night's Dream from this scene. Now the actors that you're going to see in the scene are the same from the previous one we have watched, and that's okay. They're just going to play different characters. Now we're not going to watch it with sound, that's why it says mute. That way you can kind of, because we've already read the scene, we've figured out the language on it. So while you're watching it on silent, I want you to think about who's who, and you can kind of figure that out just by watching. that is the end of today's lesson. We will see everyone next time.